I wonder if McFarlane has any connections with the Magistrate. Here's your look at McFarlane Toys, DC Multiverse, Batman the Cowardly Lot, Red Platinum Edition, Batman. The Cowardly Lot is a thrill-packed, dangerous story. Is the new gang in Gotham City connected to the resurgence of the Scarecrow? Meanwhile, Mayor Nakano meets the shadowy billionaire Simon Saint, who comes to Gotham City to pitch the concept of an advanced law enforcement project known as the Magistrate. It's always darkest before the dawn, especially in Gotham City. While I can only speculate the return of the Scarecrow, I know, though, this is the return of the Batman Hush Body. I know right away saying that, many would just dismiss this figure altogether, saying, oh, that mold again, but they have made some considerable tweaks to the figure's body. We're going to talk about those, though, in a moment. First, let's take the tape measure and see how tall the figure actually stands. I mean, if you're already familiar with the Batman body, then you're going to know how tall he is. He's one of the biggest Batmen we've gotten. He's actually 7¼ inches in height, or about 18 centimeters tall. Yeah, at first glance, it may appear to you that they're just simply using the same body from head to toe, with maybe, if anything, they've resculpted a brand new head. Well, they have sculpted a brand new head, but they've made also the head a separate piece from the rest of his neck. Oh, do tell. Here's also what the figure looks like with the blue variant of that. I mean, again, we've gotten a couple of variations of this version of Batman. He's certainly, though, again, one of the biggest looking Batman. If you compare him with, like, the more commonly used, at least in my reviews, the Nightfall Batman, he's probably one of, again, the biggest Batman we've gotten. They have kept his accessories quite small. Batman really only comes included with a display stand, a trading card, and a pair of swappable hands. First things first, let's have a look at the trading card. The trading card pulled again from Batman the Cowardly Lot. You can see, like, there's the appearance of the Scarecrow down below. I do actually hope that we get ourselves a Cowardly Lot version of Scarecrow. On the back of the card, though, it's one of the few times, in fact, that we've gotten ourselves a Batman trading card that doesn't actually list his real name. Odd, really. It does, however, though, give us a paragraph, and at least the paragraph has something to do with the story. It's not just a generic read-up of the Caped Crusader. Nice-looking card, though. I'm going to move that off to the side. The figure does also come included with a display stand. Right out the gate, though, one thing I was noticing was that the pegs seemed like a little bit more brittle. Why I say that, though, we've just actually looked at, what was it? It was Wildcat. It was Wildcat, where I actually had the peg break off the display stand. Now, I don't know if they're using a different type of plastic, but it does feel like this peg not only is it a little coarser to the top, I don't know if you can actually tell by the way I move my finger across it, but it does almost even feel like the plastic is a little bit more brittle. So I'm going to tread cautiously, even if it does break. I mean, I have enough of these anyways on the ready. Has the DC logo still branded down below. Oh, sorry, with the sound effect. Psst, branded down below. And of course, that can plug into either one of Batman's boots. As for his only other offerings, the figure does come included with 2 swappable hands. And in both cases of the hands, they're holding a pair of batarangs. So, of course, he can use it for close melee weapon attacks. Or, of course, he can also just throw these out as well. They're permanently assigned to his hands, though. There's no real way to remove them. However, though, they do actually feel like they're softer plastic, almost like they were separately attached to the figure's hands, like, if that makes any sense at all. Like, his hand feels hard plastic, yet the batarangs themselves feel like really rubbery. Maybe you would be able to pull these out. I'm not even going to try to do that, because I'm only ultimately going to be breaking it. But nice little hands. I mean, again, if you want to swap these out. By the way, though, defaulted, the figure does have 1 gripping hand. And then on the other side of the street, the figure does have 1 closed fist. He doesn't have one of those large mustache boomerangs that or the batarangs that he would have had before. Again, this figure doesn't get anything other than those swappable hands. If you did want to change those hands out, by the way, it's just a case of holding onto the forearm. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. You don't have to do that. Wiggle the hands on the figure. And then just change the figure's hands out to the one with the batarangs. Now, you can double that up also. I mean, at the very beginning of this video, I chose to only use one of them. If you want to use both, go crazy. Yeah, we can all go a little bit crazy from time to time. You want to go nuts? Let's get nuts. Speaking of nuts, though, I'm sorry, by the way, the catering table is a little empty. I had planned to get all the snacks out there prior to doing the review of this. Unfortunately, though, producer Tony kind of let me down. What's not going to be letting me down, though, is that the fact that this figure has a brand new head sculpt. Let's just make sure the hand's all the way on there before we look at that. Okay, so Batman's head is one of the biggest talking points about this figure. Not only is it a brand new head sculpt, so let's grab the blue cowl Batman, because that's just a regular face sculpt. It's not Batman screaming or anything like that. So one of the big things about this figure was the fact that his head and his neck were all one piece. So when you move the neck, obviously you're going to be moving the head as well with it. So right away, that's one thing that's been changed for the better. This new version of Batman, while still using, of course, the same body, he now has a fully articulated head, or in the regards of at least, he has a separately articulated head from the rest of his neck. So yeah, his neck and head move separately from one another, so you can do a lot more with the figure than what you would be able to do with before. One of the other things also about this figure is the fact he now has a fabric cape. The fabric cape is very similar to the kind of cape that we got with the '89 Batman. It's not really quite a soft material, and it's got a bit more of a slick to it. It's slick to the touch. Kind of, I guess they wanted to make it look more like a leather material. It does also have a wire that starts really from the top there, where it's attached to the side of his cowl, runs all the way down the side, right down there, and it goes on the other side as well. I mean, in a case like that, being the fact that the bottom of the cape is pointed like this, there's no real way that they'd be able to run a wire along the bottom. I generally, though, like to have really only wires on this side and this side, so that you keep the middle kind of more just naturally draping on the figure's body. But with the wingspan, though, of this cape, I mean, let's see if I can actually get it on both sides. I mean, you can get a pretty wide spread on the Batman's cape. I mean, obviously, it's going to look a little weird from the front, but the fact that they actually now have a fabric cape to what could really say would be one of the better looking Batman bodies. I know, again, it's a tall Batman. It's not one that's really going to scale well with many other DC Multiverse figures, but if you like the Hush Batman body, it's doing really the thing that was doing before. It's just doing it a little bit better. Coloring wise, though, I mean, one of the things that we can also look at as well is the bat symbol. This is something, too, that they've sculpted differently. The original Hush Batman, whether it be the blue, whether it be the black, or whether it also be the sketch version, which is something we've also looked at here on this channel, the bat insignia has usually stayed about the same. The new Batman now has a more simpler looking bat symbol. Now, what they've actually done, whereas the original bat symbols would have been sculpted onto the torsos, what they've done here is they've actually just printed on the logo. I know some would really have preferred to have the logo being sculpted so that when you ran your finger across, or even just like looking at it, the symbol would stand out against the backdrop of his torso. But you know what? It doesn't bother me too much, the fact that this has just been printed in place. If you're looking at this like fabric, Batman isn't probably going to be sewing on a symbol. He's probably just going to be, would he be just like printing it on like he's making t-shirts in the Batcave? Just making bat t-shirts. But yeah, it doesn't bother me too much, the fact that they've actually just printed that on. It's actually one of the better looking bat symbols too. It's very simple in the middle, although it probably doesn't show as much like he has bat ears, but of course really wide wingspan. It's a cool looking bat symbol. For the utility belts also too, I mean, if you look at this and you look at this one, they look to be almost identical. I mean, I don't know if there's really any difference really between this bat utility belt or this bat utility belt here, other than maybe just the color. The darker kind of mustard yellow works really well with the darker colors that they've chose for his costume. Of course, he still has the black trunks. That hasn't changed at all. And even like his boots, if you're looking at the boots are exactly the same as well. So from the torso, from the legs, I mean, even like the gauntlets, the sides of his arms are exactly the same as well. One thing, too, at least, is that they fixed the problem with some of the earlier released Hush Batman bodies. I was still one that had that, where like the peg, unfortunately, was still molded in black plastic. They had released a version 2 of this Batman where they had fixed that. And they actually had painted the glove. I never really got around to picking that up. But at least this Batman does actually have a section where you know is his glove. And then it ends, and then you got the rest of the sleeve above it. Overall, like, again, it's a nice looking Batman, but the changes definitely are notable. This was one of the main reasons why I did want to get this Batman figure, like even like from the head sculpt standpoint too. I really did think I was going to dislike the look of Batman's face, sort of having like a grimace look like this. I think out of hand, it looks, in hand, I should say, out of the packaging, it looks a lot better than it does when it was inside of its cardboard prison. The eyes are painted really well. Again, like the mouth, some may not like the look of the mouth. I don't think it's actually all that bad. Plus, too, when you also angle the head down, it takes a little away from that, so it doesn't look like it's so much in your face. For the figure's articulation now, again, this is where the figure's going to benefit from having a lot more than he had before. The figure's head is going to be on a ball joint, so there's a ball joint here in his neck. And normally this would be the only place we'd be able to talk about the figure's posability. But no, the figure does also have it here in his head as well. So the neck moves separately. The head moves also separately as well. It moves up, it moves down. You can also move it back and forth as well. The upper torso for Batman is going to still have that upper torso ball joint. It doesn't change at all. So, I mean, again, if you're familiar with the Hush Batman body, this one's going to do things the exact same way. Lower abdomen also does the same. His arms rotate all the way around. You can hinge them out as well at 90 degrees or a T-pose. There's a bicep swivel, double hinge on the elbow, and the hands, whether you want to use these hands or just beeline it back to his bat hands before. Wow, that's a lot of bees. You can rotate the hand all the way around. You can also hinge it back and forth. For his legs, not only are they ratcheted, but they do a fair bit splits, a fair good splits too. The legs go forward, they go back, There's obviously a little swivel there at the top of the thigh as well. Double hinge on the knee, which is really tight on my figure, but that's not a bad thing at all. I'd rather have tight joints than super loose joints. No articulation, unfortunately, here for the boots. It's just one continued sculpt from the rest of his calf. However, though, he does have an ankle pivot, an ankle rocker, and toe articulation as well. This Batman I always really noticed was an issued figure when it came to him standing. There was always really something that bothered me about his ankles. I don't seem to have as much of an issue as I say that now, trying to get this guy to balance. Also, you can really make use of the display stand. It's almost like the company made a display stand so you can get these figures in poses. Well, it's also there as well to make sure that they don't fall over. You know, why I say that? Let's get him back onto his display stand. What I was about to say, though, is that normally I have problems with this figure to stand. I think a lot of it really also has to do with the fact that when you're looking at the original Hush Batman body, they had so much weighted plastic on the back for his plastic cape that usually that caused conflict to get the Batman to stand. I do seem to stand him better, I think, a little bit now. I mean, again, a lot of times I just have these guys on display stands anyway, so having them falling over never seems to be an issue at all for me. Yeah, you know, I got to say, like, I really like this look of Batman. I didn't think I would. I really did think to myself initially, I thought, okay, it's the Hush Batman body. I've probably gotten myself like 4 or 5 versions of this figure already. Where's another display stand? I'm just going to pillage a display stand off to the side here. It really isn't a McFarlane Collector's Edition or digital for that matter, just so at least I can get this guy to stand. See, this is exactly what I was talking about. Yeah, the weight of his cape on the back of his body certainly made this Batman a little bit more back heavy. A lot of people did really like the look of the Hush Batman. I get the arguments why a lot of people don't, because it's one of the biggest Batman we've gotten. I mean, certainly if you're going to be displaying this guy with the other DC Multiverse figures, there are some obviously that aren't going to work as well. I think a lot of people for that reason tend to go with the Nightfall Batman because it's generally the more size right. It just fits better, I think, with a lot of the other DC figures. These ones are also a little bit bigger, but I think the benefit is that if you get the chance to grab the Cowardly Lot Batman, it already gives us a good-looking bat body, whether it's too big or not. It gives us now a fully posable cowl that's separate from the rest of his neck. Then that's already a plus. And it also now gives him the fabric cape. It took really the one or two few things that really bothered people about this figure's initial release. Changing the cape, changing the fact that the neck is now separate from the rest of his cowl. It fixed that for this release, and it ends up making a much better Batman body as a result. I had made mention in this review about getting a Cowardly Lot Scarecrow, and, you know, it completely missed my mind that we did get ourselves a serviceable Scarecrow stand-in, the one that we got from the Infinite Frontier. Not only getting a regular release of that figure, but also the Black Light Edition, both of which, shamelessly plugging this channel, we've actually done extensive reviews for if you guys wanted to have a look at those. Speaking of also other reviews that we've done, I mean, it's safe to say that we've covered off the bases on the Hush Batman body, I mean, like 3-4 times already. We looked at the blue edition. We looked at the black edition, of course, with the aired issue with the elbows. We also looked at the sketch version, which was an all-white Batman with the sketch lines done in black. I've looked at those enough to know what this Batman looks like with my eyes closed. The thing, though, I have to mention, though, and I hope that reviews like this have helped, just because, again, they're using the same body doesn't mean there's not opportunity for Todd and his team to go in there and tweak and change the things that were maybe missing on the first initial releases. Yes, it's still the same Batman body, but now by having a fully articulated head that's separate from the rest of his neck and incorporating now a fabric cape, even though, yes, for the intensive purposes of this being still the same Batman body, when you're looking at it, you'd never think that it's the same Hush Batman body as we've gotten before. The articulated cape alone, I mean, to look at this, I know there's a big fandom for like the SH Figure Arts or the import figures, and I've gotten questions before like, why can't you do more reviews of those? A lot of times it really does boil down just to the price. The availability, first of all, is really hard to find those things in Canada. And even when I do, they're usually going anywhere from $150 to $180. In the meantime, though, what we're getting from Todd near the end of the licenses line, I mean, you're getting fully articulated figures, not as many accessories to be fair, but now you start to incorporate the big game changer of fabric capes. You look at a Batman like this, it'd be hard-pressed to pass on him, even though they're using this mold again. What do you guys think of Cowardly Lot Batman? Let me know down below in the comment section. To be fair, again, while it's still using the same body, have enough changes been made to this that you're willing to invest in this mold again? If you guys are, by the way, interested and would like to get your hands on this one, I did actually buy this one from Popeye the Toy Man over on Facebook. If you guys are interested, you can certainly click the link down below, check out his current listings. If you guys also did enjoy this video, you can do it a solid and throw it a like. You guys want to stick around for more so? I hope so. We're going to be wrapping up things right now for at least in Gotham City, but it's not to say that we're not going to be looking at more DC Multiverse reviews for the rest of this week. As always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.